Hello and welcome to another episode of Ken Training, where we try to give you, the YouTube audience, the training that you need to tackle projects like this one on your own. Today's project is going to be an epoxy coating project. It's a sample piece. It's my second sample piece. The first sample piece that I did was the epoxy white and brass marble. I'll show you that one. That project was done yesterday. Today we are doing a project called caramel marble. So let me show you yesterday's project and let me go into today's right now. Here is yesterday's project, white and brass marble. It was done yesterday. It's dry to the touch, but it's still in the curing process. This is kind of like what it looks like when you when you bring it up to the to show you the edge profile there. You know, from my first piece, not bad. I think I should have put some spray paint along the edges here to make it darker, because I'm disappointed with how much white is coming through the substrate for the on the edges there. There's an 1.5 inch overhang right there. But still, for my first piece, it's quite beautiful. It's a beautiful looking piece. Okay, now we're in my garage. I got 2 heaters going right now. I got some epoxy right here. It's the winter time. It's Southern California, so the temperature in the space that we're working in right now is 60 degrees Fahrenheit. The outside temperature is 50 degrees at 90% relative humidity. In the garage where we're working, it's 60 degrees Fahrenheit, 55% relative humidity. I got a clock in the background so we can monitor my progress and time it. And so all my products that I purchased purchased from Stone Coat Countertops. I went and spent, well, how much did I spend here? I ended up spending $306.12. And the materials that I got, now for today's project, we're going to be doing this one here, diamond dust, and then the white and brown dyes. I've got some cups here once we go to do the epoxy, and I've got various buckets here that we're going to be mixing things up into here to determine the exact amount of epoxy. I got my drill with the paddle mixer on there, and I've got, what else do I have? I got, this is extra stuff that came in the kit that I purchased, some extra chop brushes, one of these trowels. I purchased 2 different types of epoxies, the standard epoxy, which is right here, and art coat epoxy. We're going to do our project in the standard epoxy. This one is a little bit cheaper than the art coat, maybe, and then you can see I got plenty of epoxy left over to do more sample pieces. I also got some, these were the spray paints that I used for the first sample piece job, which was that white and brass marble. So that's a silver metallic, antique brass, white gloss, and black gloss. But we're not going to be doing spray paints today. Today it's just these 3 products over here. I do have some more products that I purchased in my kit for other samples. I got the pearl metallic, silver, copper metallic, that should be beautiful, and this white metallic. My piece here, the sample board, is MDF. I got an 1.5 inch overhang with a 1/8 inch round over on the top and 1 inch round over on the bottom. Everything was sanded with 220 grit sandpaper. I got 2 coats of a latex epoxy paint on here, so the sample board is prepped and ready to go. I wanted to show you the edge profile before I put the tape on and tape my edges, because I'm demonstrating that this is a smooth edge. It's not a rock face edge, so that's the edge profile that we're going for. When I did the round over bits, I just had some router bits that I purchased at Big Lots from a kit, so it was only like 20 bucks. So one of the bits there was the 1/8 inch round over that I used for this project with my router. The project here, I already got my sample here where it says that it's 47 inches by 23 inches. And if you multiply 47 by 23, it's 1,081 square inches. Divide by 144, that's 7.5 square feet. We're going to do 5 ounces per square foot. So if you take 5, multiply by 7.5, you get 37.5. Round that off, that's 38. Divide that by 2, that's 19 ounces of part A and 19 ounces of part B. When you look at your sample cup in a 1 quart container, it is completely spelled out right at the 20 ounce mark. So we're just going to round everything out to 20 ounces. 20 ounces of part B and then 20 ounces of part A. Then I'm going to take it and I would like to use this size container, but this was from yesterday's project, and it's not cured out enough for me to remove that. I could not buy any more of these. The Home Depot did not have any more 2.5 quarts. They only had 5 quarts. So these are about $2.70 each. So I have this old ice cream container, so I just cleaned out the inside with some paint thinner and a rag. So this is a pretty good container. It's sturdy enough where it's not going to crack on me. So I'll just pour my epoxy here, pour it into here, mix it up, put it into the mixing cups here, separate, get my colors going with my dyes and my metallic powder, and then we can start the project pouring it back in here and doing our dirty pour onto the project. So that is the project in a nutshell. Let's get going. Okay, I got my work surface area cleared off. I should mention that I have a tarp underneath. I got my sawhorses, an old door, another plastic sheeting over that. I put some wood underneath to kind of create a dam around the project, so when it flows over, it doesn't flow over and then down onto the floor. The project stays tight for the overflow epoxy. The project is sitting on 4 paint cans, and I put some liners, trash bag liners, around those cans just to keep those cans protected from the epoxy as well. I got a clock in the background to show you the time, and then there's the thermometer. There's the room temperature right now. It's 61 degrees. Outside it's 51, so we're 10 degrees warmer in the garage. And I am running 2 heaters over there to try to keep the space warm. Let me show you what the bottom of my sample piece looks like so you can see it. So you can see I got a build-up strip here where I did an extra 3/4 of an inch this way to build it up for an 1.5 inch overhang. So this is just 4 paint cans that the project is going to sit on, just so that we can do it. Make sure that everything is centered and that I got good spacing from the drip edge to where the paint can is, so everything just drips straight down. Everything is nice and clean. I've already sanded everything down and wiped it down and everything like that. So we are absolutely good to go to start mixing our epoxy. Alright, we're going to start mixing up our epoxy right now. I'm just going to throw some gloves on because it can get a little messy. And I got some tongue depressors and the dyes and all that. I'm going to put those aside for now. Not worry about that. And the first thing we're going to do is take our part B and we're going to mix that to our 20 ounce. All this is epoxy has been heated. It should flow. Look at that. It flows real easy. And we get that right up to the 20 mark. It's actually going to be just about under 20. It's almost at 18 to 19, which should be fine for this project. Okay, throw that in there. That was the part B. Now we're going to throw in the part A. And I'm going to mix this up for 3 minutes, total of 3 minutes. So I'm just going to watch my clock and mix this up for 3 minutes. Alright, the epoxy is mixed. Now we're going to put it into our pails to mix the dyes in. The time right now is about 11:20. We're probably not going to pull the tape until closer to 12 o'clock. Alright, now for the most important part of the project, which is pouring your epoxies into the bucket. And because I want caramel and I have so much brown, I think I have too much brown, I'm going to introduce some white spray paint and some silver spray paint to make the pour more lighter in color. That's why I'm using light colors here. When you do the spray paint, because I'm in an enclosed space, I'm going to put on my respirator and I have my shop vac, so the sound is going to be muted while I do the pour. But this is, you as the audience should watch this step closely, because this is the most important step on putting all your epoxies in here, mixing them up randomly, because how this gets put into this bucket will determine what the project looks like. Very important step right now. Alright, we have our bucket ready to go. I just put the drip cups here so I could just do a small flood coat with these. So we'll do that right now. So I'll take one of my tongue depressors here, mix that up, and just mix this into the project just to get some material down before we pour. This isn't going to hurt anything. This will just help spread the epoxy when it pours out. So I'm just working this out. Yeah. Okay, you look good. Now, we are going to go for our dirty pour for the first time, and let's see how this lays out. I'm not going to go completely in straight lines. I'm going to mix it around, do a little loopy-loop here, come over here, do another loopy-loop, come around. thought it was going to be a little bit on the dark side, and that's what I was a little afraid of. Now my piece is not anchored down, so I can move it. How dark the piece is. I probably should have used 1 brown and 3 whites, so I put too much. I did 2 whites and 2 browns. I should have. The ratio for me is too dark, but this is just my second epoxy piece. I'm still going through my own learning curves here. Now I just heated up the piece and I just want to move it around. I got some surface tension here, so I'm just going to take one of the tongue depressors and just kind of move that to break up that surface tension here, and then try to get the piece to move. There's some surface tension here. I'm going to have to heat it up again, I can tell. So let me go ahead and get some more flame going here. The piece is it's a beautiful piece, but here's some mistakes that I can see myself in on this project. Number one, the silver spray paint left behind like some speckles, and I'm convinced it's the silver spray paint. No more silver spray paint for me on my epoxy projects, number one. Number two, the project came out a lot darker than I anticipated. The ratio, I should have more white. Let me give you a close-up how everything looks. I'm just letting it drip out. Alright, we've been into our project for about an hour since the epoxy was mixed for the first time into the bucket. You can see those speckles of the silver paint here, 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 and I don't know. I mean, does it give it this asteroid look or whatever? I don't think I'm a fan of this look, so I'm not going to be using that. I do like. Do you see the way the white and the different colors kind of marbleized here? I think this looks really beautiful, and I like that I've got a light section dark and caramel and all that. Overall, the piece is a little too dark for me, but it is what it is. This is just a sample board. This is not a finished. This isn't like, you know, this masterpiece or whatever. This is only my second epoxy job I've ever done in my entire life. The first epoxy job was right over there, okay? And now I'm on piece number 2. You can see that that's a gray tone. This one here is more of a brown and white tone or caramel tone, in which it's supposed to be. And you can see the way it drips over the sides. It looks, I like that look, how it veins down. I think that's an attractive look. I can kind of see the white still bleeding through my project here on the sides, which I'm not exactly a fan of. Like right here at the corner, I can see that whiteness right there. It's almost as if I wish I'd spray painted the piece a little bit with a caramel tone prior to putting the tape on and doing all that. Over here it really darkened out nice though. But I guess it depends on exactly, you know, what colors you got going on right there. All in all though, not bad. I think I got the bubbles popped as best I could. I don't see any surface tension anywhere. I look like I have full coverage across the piece, which is appropriate. You don't want to have bare spots. You have to have full coverage. And there's not too much dripping going on here. And this is done at 5 ounces per square foot. So over here you can see how little it dripped. I mean, it's like nothing here. You know what? The piece must be pitched. That's why I have a dead spot over here. You know, one thing I didn't do, now that I think of it, I didn't make sure this piece was level. I should have gotten my 2-foot level over here and put it on and see how level the piece was. I'm going to do that on my next sample. So a few things I'm going to do on the next sample piece. Number one, I'm going to make sure it's level. Number two, I'm not going to be using silver spray paint. That's out. I'm going to let this, I'll just start wiping up the drips off the edge here, and all I have to do is babysit this thing. Well, you know, all I have to do is come here once every 45 minutes to use my tongue depressor here, like this. Take it, and you just run it across the bottom, like this. And you just get that off. Just basically wiping your drips off. So I'm just doing that just to take the drips off of the piece, so it's not all building up underneath. So it's going to keep leveling out for a long time. So there's nothing I can do about that. But basically that's pretty much the piece that you're seeing right now is pretty much what the final piece is going to look like, even though this is still self-leveling and doing everything else. That's about it. I tried to add a little bit more visual interest over here by putting in those white, and I moved it around with the air, and I think that added. Over here I kind of feathered it out. I think that was good, because now it's It lightened the piece up, but it's not so eye-catching that you go to it and it looks man-made. I think the worst part about this piece is, to me, that silver spray paint. Other than that, this piece is quite beautiful. Alright, there's your time right there. It's about 2 hours since the epoxy's been mixed. Here's the project. I just got done using the tongue depressor to scrape up some more drips, and just showing you the project one last time. I think it looks good. The edges here look really nice. I like the way the colors run and pour over the side. I really think that's an attractive thing about this project, about working with epoxy. Not to mention all the visual interest. I mean, I'm comparing it to like just a painted surface, all solid one color. This is 10,000 times more attractive than something like that. And you're creating it. It's just like art. Alright, I got my gray piece that I did yesterday just sitting on my workbench here. And I was just trying to show you, like, this is that silver spray paint. You can kind of see where it kind of leave those speckles. You tell me, do you think that this is good, of good visual effect, or this is not good? Now, one thing I did notice as I'm doing quality control here, I think what happened was towards the end of the project I was heating it up with the gun, and the cord, so my heat gun is right there. I think what happened was the cord rubbed along the side as I was doing it, and I didn't notice it, and that's what created this imperfection here and here and here. Well, as you stand back, it's not really so eye-catching, but when I come up close and I was doing an inspection, well, that's when I could see it. Oh, the drips. So this is this is what I haven't. These drips are still kind of curing out, but I'm going to have to take my sander and sand off these drips because they're this project's over 24 hours old. That's what the project looks like, and I think it's still a very good looking piece. These sample pieces were meant to replicate like small tables. Okay, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you're getting into these projects on your own, I hope I've given you some tips myself. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will do my best in order to answer your questions. Don't forget to smash that like button down and subscribe to my channel, Ken Training. I will catch you on the flip side. Oh, by the way, stay tuned for sample number 3. I'm going to try to make something like this, but it's going to have some different colors in it. I've got some pearl metallic. This one here is white metallic. These are all the powders. Now this one is interesting. Copper metallic. This one should be beautiful for the accent lines going through the piece. And then I've got silver and the same diamond dust. So I am definitely going to be doing a sample with all of those. I'm not going to use the silver spray paint because I don't want that same effect right there. But I think what I'll do is I'll do some white spray paint and some black spray paint. This one here is this particular piece here is all spray paint. There is no metallic powders in the piece that's behind me right now. So the next piece I'm going to try to go for the same color family, except it's going to have this very outstanding copper metallic I'm going to try to do it with the veining. We'll see how well that comes out, but definitely we're going to have some copper metallic in the next piece. So please stay tuned for that. I will leave a link to the video in the description below. Subscribe to my channel, Ken Training. Don't forget to smash that like button. I'll catch you on the flip side.